Soul Shades. My name is... Let's try this again. Hey there, Soul Shades. My name is Michelle, and welcome to my channel. Today it is a creative expressions video. If you are new here, creative expressions is where I talk about what I've made, what I'm working on, life updates. I guess you would call it a podcast. I technically have issues with calling it a podcast because a podcast is supposed to not have anything visual. But that's what people call them, knitting podcast, crocheting podcast. So I guess it's kind of a maker's podcast. Anyway, it's creative expressions. And I'm really excited about this because I have things to share. Oh, that's so far away. Okay, I'm going to switch over to a list view of what I have done. Okay, so finished objects. I've already showed my one finished object, a picture of it, in another video, the mystery yarn reveal from the June reveal, because I used yarn from the mystery yarn box for it. So I've already showed it, but I'm going to show it again. So I'm going to put a picture up. I think this side's probably the one that will have the best view for a picture, but I'm going to put a picture up somewhere. Maybe I'll just cover my face. I don't know. And let me pull out the yarns that I used, because it's a wasp decoy. Something I did that's unique is I actually put a crystal in the center of it, and I just had the thought that I needed to put a crystal in it. I asked the person it was for, and she loved the idea, and so we used a crystal that we had around, and then it turned out that the crystal that we had actually really made a lot of sense for using in a wasp decoy. So that was really fun and really cool. And I figure if I ever make them again, I will add them and things like that. So got lots of thoughts about crystals and their uses, and if I would use them in more crochet projects. Thoughts. Okay, so the yarn that came from the Mystery Yarn Challenge is this one. I need to switch back. That's what I need to do. Sorry about this. I needed to make them so that I can see when I hold things up that you guys can see it, but I can also still see my list. So this is Cotton DK from Yarn Bee in the color Fog, and it is from Hobby Lobby. That's who sells this. And this is the boucle yarn. I don't love crocheting with it. Actually, crocheting the mixed with another yarn wasn't too bad. I'm really excited to find out if I can knit something. I think this would make a very pretty cardigan. So I'm going to see about making a cardigan with the leftover yarns. But I used this and I held it together with this. Where's the tag? Silliness. Oh, yeah. I also got it from Yarn Bee. I also went to Hobby Lobby. So this is called Yarn ID and the color Fawn. And so it's just this really light brown color. And when held together, I felt like they made a very natural looking, that it was very natural looking for a wasp decoy. The coloring I thought was pretty good. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know what color the decoy or like the wasp nest in Mississippi would be, and that's where it went. So to get this kind of yarn, it's a 5 ounce and 252 yards. Like I said, the color's Fawn, and it's from Yarn Bee. And for the metric people, it's 142 grams and 230 meters. It is 80% acrylic and 20% polyamide. And if you want the needle information, it asks for it suggests, I'm going to say suggests, a US 5mm needle, which is US 8, UK 6. Funny how things are. I'll tell you this in a second. And then for crochet hooks, it's a 5.5, which is USA size 9 and a UK size 5. That's weird. Never called them by 9 or something. I don't know what I used because I used a smaller one. Well, I probably used the size that it asked for because I was doing 2 together. And then I'll read off this and then I'll tell you what I was going to say. This is 3.5 ounces, 235 yards for one of these. Oh, this is also a worsted weight, a size 4 weight. And then this one is a size 3 weight, so it's a little bit thinner. It's got 100 grams, 216 meters, or 3.5 ounces, 235 yards. It's 100% cotton, and it recommends US 4mm knitting needles, which is a 6 in the USA, or a UK 8, and crochet hook is 4.5 crochet hook, which is in USA 7, or UK size G, size S, 7. Sorry, I was like, G hooks sometimes are 4 point, sometimes 4.5. So, I don't know. It's okay. What I was going to say is that I found it very interesting because I grew up calling the hooks by letter names. And I really didn't pay attention to the numbers. Now I am, because I've noticed that some of my favorite hooks have a different size than the current ones. So now I'm starting to pay attention to like 4.5 and 5 and 5.5 and 4 and the millimeters. But a part of why I started paying attention to that was with knitting needles. I have no clue when somebody says it's a US size 5. I have no clue what size knitting needle that is. When people say a 1, is that the one that's like 2 millimeters? I don't even know. When I started learning knitting needles, I actually started paying attention only to the millimeters. So I know that my sweater I'm working on uses a 4.5 millimeter knitting needle for the main body and a 4 for the ribbing. That's what I know. My socks, I use a 2.5, I think, for most of my socks, or 2.25. And then I just bought 3.25 that I'm using on a pair of socks that I'll show you. And so even though they have numbers in the US size whatever and UK size whatever, I've just started calling them by their millimeter sizes. And I'm starting to kind of think that way in crochet hooks, which I find interesting. So anyway, these 2 yarns held together is what I used for the decoy. On my continuing projects, I got the next clue for the multivalence, which is the Mystery Crochet Along, year-long Mystery Crochet Along from Expression Fiber Arts. And here it is with the last clue. So we've got the beautiful center mandala, which was in January, followed by this beautiful white. Some people's, the colors they used and how they did it, look like flower petals. It looks so pretty. The way that they did these outside parts and stuff. Then we have this color, which was March, and then in April we did this fairly solid bit that's pulling in the popcorns from the first two colors. And then my favorite color that I have out of all 12 colors is this reddish color, which I believe is called Scarlet. This color here I know is called Ivory, and it just reminds me of an old lace. I don't know if I would have seen that just from the color if it hadn't been a lacy pattern, and it doesn't look just a gorgeous pattern. The little puff stitches there. I'm loving this. I love how it turned out. I brought my next color. This is going to be the July color, and this is the color Rose. This is also from Yarn Bee, so also bought at Hobby Lobby. This is Yarntopia. Now, Shandy at Expression Fiber Arts has a sport weight that she sells that's got a wool in it. And I had a gift card from Hobby Lobby that I got for Christmas that I went and bought all of these on with the gift card, which is why I was able to get these. So these are sport weight, which is a size 2. This stuff is so soft. It's 100% acrylic. It is just so soft. But won't that be a very pretty next color? In there. Okay. Anyway, these have 4 ounces, 312 yards, or 113 grams, 285 meters. Like I said, it's size 2. It calls for a 3.25 millimeter knitting needle, or a 4.5 crochet hook. But I just ended up with 12 colors. This stuff is so soft, and this is so fun. And it's really fun to make a blanket, or it can be a blanket or a shawl, I believe, because like once it's done and you fold it in half, you've got 2 bits. You can even do that. So it's got kind of a little ruffly at the bottom, but and then you can wrap it around as a shawl. I think some people might do that. I don't know. Together, that makes a very warm. But even just like so sometimes crocheted things, especially knit's not as bad, but sometimes crocheted things can be really heavy. When you've got yourself a 4-weight yarn, and it just can be really, really weigh things down. And this, because it's a 2-weight, has fairly light. It has some pretty amazing drape, and it's so soft, and it's been so fun to work with. And I'm really loving this, and I can't wait until the next clue. I can wait because I have to wait. I don't want to wait. I want to get all of the clues and make it right now. But it will be finished right before some of the coldest part of next year starts. So that will at least be nice. And I'm just really loving this project. So I just finished the June one. And then my other ongoing, I will share information about this yarn as well. This is my temperature snake. I like to let you guys know how she's coming along every week or every other week as I do these. So she's what, 5.5 months, 6.5 months old? You had January, February, March, April, May, June. I guess she's 5.5 months old. She'll be 6 months at the end of June. So she's coming along. We did go down, have a little bit cooler. Apparently some people in Utah have had really, really cooler weather. I haven't noticed it being like furnace turning on kind of weather at all in my part of Utah. So don't know. Utah's funny that way, like the weather can be different, so different places. So anyway, I'm really excited about her. She is looking lovely. So far, we have 3 birthdays. We have a January birthday, an April birthday, and a May birthday. And coming up, we have 2 July birthdays that one is the 7th and one is the 9th, so they're very close together. And then we'll have an August birthday and a September birthday, 2 October birthdays, and a December birthday. So it's pretty fun to do the little, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me find, where's the sparkle? There's a sparkle one there. I just do a sparkle, I have a sparkle embroidery floss. I just take a couple strands of the embroidery floss and put with it. I don't know if this has enough information on it or not. 3041 is the color number for this. I don't have enough other information on the little tag that came off the embroidery floss. I'm pretty sure I got the embroidery floss at Hobby Lobby when I was buying other stuff. So the yarns they all came from Hobie. So there's a Mayflower Junior. This we haven't used yet. This is for when the temperature gets to 90 and above. And the closest we've gotten is 88. This is the rainbow, cotton rainbow. These are all 1 weight. This snake is being done with a 1 weight yarn. And this is the color that is used quite a bit here because it is it goes up to 89. It starts somewhere in the lower 70s, I can't remember. And then this is my kind of cool, but it's on the warm side color, which is also a Mayflower Junior. These are all 100% cotton, all 1 weight. They were all 50-gram skeins. And then for my middle, or like kind of middle, that's not too cold, kind of jacket weather, is this gray blue. That's a rainbow cotton, whatever. And then I've got I don't have the tag with me for this one. That's for pretty cold, but not freezing cold. And then I have a navy that I also don't have the top for. That is also really cold, but like I said, they're all rainbow cottons. I also have a little, oh, that could be it. I also have another like purpley colored embroidery floss that I'm using for kind of extremes. So back here in January, right after a birthday number, okay, so I had a birthday color right in here. And then right up here, there is a purple embroidery floss that I put around with it because that temperature went way colder than I had expected. Like I had a range of what we've had in the last couple of years, and that went lower than the range. It wasn't a record cold, but it went lower than the range. And so my plan is with the burgundy color, the Bordeaux, if we get up above the range numbers for that, which means anything 104 and above this is Fahrenheit, will have, also I'll put the little purple thing. So that color thing that I read from an embroidery floss, it could have been for the purple as well. I don't know for sure. And then the snake's head and tail are being made with this, which is kind of a natural cream color. So as you can see, and then I just did an embroidery floss, or not embroidery. I had a light brown color of this kind of yarn as well that I just used for the thing. She hasn't given us instructions for the snake tongue yet. I don't know if I'll use like this color or if I will get a different color. We'll see when we get there. It'll probably be a December thing. So I'm really excited that she's staying up to date. The longest that she's gone without being updated is 2 weeks. I update her on Sundays, and so sometimes on Sunday I have 2 weeks worth to do, but I've been doing really well. I need to pause this and talk to my kids for a second. So those are my updated, like they're kind of the ongoing. They're up to date as much as they can be. And then let's talk about snakes. So this is my snake for my grandson. I put a little bow tie on the bottom so I knew it was his. I just used a sock yarn that I had that had this bright yellow, and it was a multicolored sock yarn, and I used that for his eyes. And then I'm just doing 6 colors, just like I'm doing 6 colors for Millie. The grandkid snakes are also getting 6 colors as they grow. It started on his birthday, the year he was born. So I've just been pulling off the charts. There are a couple of days that don't have records. I think I'm just going to use this black from his head and tail to do that. But these are just like basically main stain, regular worsted acrylic yarn. And the hottest color is in the red. The kind of in between hot color is in the orange. The yellow is that warm color where you don't necessarily need a jacket. It's not too cold kind of thing. The green is where it starts to be jacket weather. The blue is where it gets cold, and then there's a purple when it's really cold. So I have not worked on this one for a while, but I did finally start working again on this one, which this is my granddaughter's, and I put the bow on the top so that I know which snake's which, and did the same thing with her eyes. She was my July baby, he was my May baby, so hers started in July, which is why hers starts with red and goes in the warm months. And I believe I'm into November. But the progress I've made since the last time I shared these snakes is I did it last night, I did all this green and up. So I did the green, the blue, green, yellow, green, yellow, blue, green, blue, yellow, blue. Nope, that's green. Blue, green, blue, green, blue. The next color will be green and some more blue, but so I've been working on this snake, and now you can see that snake has become longer. So they're making progress there. I'll tell you what I did, because I was like, I need to make progress on these things. I created for myself kind of a thing like I did with Millie. So Millie, and another project that I'll show you is what I work on Sundays. And I update Millie on Sundays. That's my snake. And I work on what I call my tithing project. I'll show you in a second where I'm at with that. So I made Whip Wednesdays, which means I'm going to be working. Yes, technically all of my projects are whips, but there's something about calling it Whip Wednesday that reminds me that I need to work on the things that I kind of am forgetting about. So last night I worked on my granddaughter's snake. I may work on the grandson's next week. I don't know. I may sit down and just whip out my daughter's gloves that I haven't done anything with. Part of that is because I have to sit in this chair, and if I sit too long in this chair, it's a problem. But I have to sit in this chair or plug this in somewhere else because I need the magnifying glass and the light. Oh, it's not on. That's okay. In order to work on the crochet thread with, it's a black crochet thread, so it's not just working on black, or it's not just working with something small, it's working on something small and black. Two things that make it sometimes hard to see. I dropped the snake. Okay, so like I said, I know that the colors are mainstay. The head may just be a Super Saver red hearts. I don't know. But those are coming along. I'm so proud of myself for making progress. So since I mentioned it, this is my tithing project. I am making hats that I will give away as soon as I can figure out where to give it away and stuff. But I want to get a few made before I donate, so I'm not like, here's a hat every once in a while. I do want to try to finish this on Sunday so that I'm at least doing like one hat a month, because I don't know, I prefer knitted hats. I just like the way they feel, but almost I'm so slow at knitting, they almost take forever too. But I'm using this. This was a Mystery Yarn Challenge yarn as well. It's a super soft yarn. I've got the tag here. So this is Premier Everyday Anti-Peeling yarn, and it comes with 180 yards or 165 meters, 3.5 ounces or 100 grams. It's 100% anti-peeling acrylic in medium weight 4, and it calls for 5mm knitting needles or 5.5 crochet needles. I think it's funny. You know, the patterns, like you used to always get patterns on the back of the things. Now they send you to websites. So that's kind of funny to me. But this is just a classic beanie that you can find here. But I'm just doing kind of a vanilla beanie as well. But I did a 1x1 ribbing. Probably looks like it's probably an inch or a fourth long, and then I'm knitting it up, and I hope that next time it will be a finished object. So, got that going. That's my tithing project, and that one's knit. So far, I think everything besides that I've showed you is crochet. Do I have anything else crochet to show you? I don't think I do. Okay. I have been knitting on my thing. First of all, I was given in there we go. In one of the mystery crochet alongs, I was given these, and I thought they were beads or something. I didn't know what they were, and then I got told that they were actually why do they call it it's not a knitting, it's not a mystery crochet along, it's a mystery yarn challenge. You can do whatever you want with yarn. You could do string art with it if you wanted to. Like, there's no rules as long as you just use at least a little bit of every yarn. Anyway, I found out that these were for putting on the ends of knitting needles to keep your stitches on. So I've been using them, and I really appreciate them. So this, I'm calling this the rose sweater. It is, it's a drops pattern. I think it's called cornflower. I'm putting the links to everything that has a link. I will put down below. The Planet June snakes and mystery crochet along, if it has a link. I can't remember what I did for, I followed a YouTube video for, that's not true. I started following a YouTube video for how to do the nest thing, and then I kind of changed it a little bit, so I only half followed it, but anyway. So this is what I've got, what I did, because, so I've got the yoke done. I actually moved my bottom onto a smaller needle and held them there while I hurried and did my sleeves, because I didn't want to be worried about running out of yarn. And it also made it so I didn't have to divide anything, because I just have these little skeins that are like 50-gram skeins that I was able to, I just used 2 skeins, didn't have to divide yarn. Hurried and did my sleeves, and then went back to going around the body. So just following the pattern. I don't really know enough about, I've never knitted a sweater before. I mean, I knit, it's not true. So back years ago, when I first got married, our first Christmas together, he wanted, did he want to learn to knit? I think he wanted to learn to knit. He'd already kind of learned to crochet, my former husband. And so we both learned to knit. I don't think he ever finished what he was doing, but I got little red, white, and green, just like regular acrylic yarn, and I made a little baby pullover sweater that I did knit flat, and I think some of my kids wore it. Like if they were that size during a cooler month, they wore it. So I had made that and then didn't do anything with knitting again for years. Then I remember trying to knit something else, and I think the first time I was taught to do the like English style knitting, and then the second time I tried continental knitting, and it just stressed me out, and I hated it. So then I just was like, no, I'm done. And then I tried making another thing of similar nature again. And again, I was like, no, I don't like this. And then a year and a half ago, I decided to try it again. And part of what happened is I'm going to show a picture here. I did grandma for Halloween, a great grandma. I'll probably show you 2 pictures. And one of the things is she carried knitting needles around. And so I was like, well, I at least need to, learn how to knit it and stuff. But that time I did our English style again. And I realized the difference. And I hate continental. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're a crocheter, you should hold your needle over here. I can't do it. I knit too tight and it stresses me out and it's super awkward for me. So I knit English style, kind of. It's kind of a cross between lever style knitting and English style knitting. So that's what I do. And then I took off with knitting. I fell in love with it. I prefer to knit in the round, I have discovered, but I will sometimes knit things flat. So anyway, this is my first like full-size me sweater. So I did make a child size knit and flat. This is the first time in the round, but it's doing pretty awesome. So I'm loving working on it. The yarn, let me tell you about the yarn. It is 100% cotton. It is Drops Cotton, Drop Paris. So it's a unicolored 100% cotton. This is the color 15-9, which I think is called Old Pink or something like that. I call it the rose sweater because of the color. It calls for art. This is from Drops. They do these yarn group things, and this is yarn group C, which I forget what is. I think it's a DK weight. So like a 3. It's a little bit smaller than, it's bigger than the sports yarn, but I think it's a little bit smaller than a 4. Let me try. Yeah, I've got a couple, so it's probably a 3 weight. Sorry. I do not have autofocus, so I apologize for that. Anyway, yeah, these are 50-gram things. It calls for a 5mm hook and needles. It calls for both. It says the same for both. So, and it's been pretty lovely. I've got 1, 2, 3 full skeins and 2 partial skeins left down in there. So I should have plenty. So we'll see. That one I'm super excited about. I don't know, there's something about making a sweater for myself that is really exciting. Another thing I'm really excited about is my alpaca socks. And so I've got about a half an inch left, a little more than a centimeter for you guys that do the metric system, before I start doing my heel on these. I am so stinking excited. Look at that. My hand can disappear. It's like a little baby mitt, you know? So I don't scratch myself. I need to put these on the dog. Anyway. So those are really fun, and I'm really excited that they're coming so far along. Let me tell you, I got this from Hobie. This is soft alpaca, 100% alpaca from Hobie, and color 33, whatever that means. These are 50-gram balls as well. 100% alpaca, 3 to 3.5 millimeter knitting needles, 3 millimeter crochet hook is what it calls for. This is a 1 weight yarn. I know that socks people usually use wool. I'm allergic to wool. In case you didn't know, in case you're new here, everybody knows I'm allergic to wool. I do not hide that fact. It's hard for me. There are so many gorgeous yarns out there. And like, it's summer sock camp right now, so lots of people are making socks. And so lots of people are showing their wools, and there's these gorgeous wools and hand-dyed beautiful wool, and I can't use it, and it makes me kind of sad, actually. So I know that 100% alpaca is probably not the most durable, but it should be really warm. So I'm really excited about these, because this winter I will have some very soft and gorgeous socks to wear, and I'm almost to the heel. So excited. In case you didn't notice, those are toe-up socks. I tend to do toe-up socks. These, I made myself some watermelon socks. And I had leftover yarn, and so I've started little socks. I've got this. I do each toe one at a time, and then I put them together and do 2 at a time going up. And I'm making these for a child, probably about a year old, and I'm hoping to actually sell these. Sorry about the dog. These are Regia color cotton color, Tutti Frutti in the color watermelon. These are 72% cotton, 18% polyamide, 10% polyester. And so it was nice to find a sock yarn. These are a 1 weight as well. There's officially a sock yarn that is cotton. So I like that. They are lovely. I have that same cotton for the snake the blush color actually goes really, really well with the watermelon thing. So I'm going to use some of that for the heels on these socks. So I'm excited about those. Started those and shouldn't take me too long, except for I have so many projects right now. I think I have 11 or 12 projects because I have another project that I haven't showed you. It is something I'm making in hopes to sell. It will probably be the only one I make to sell unless it's for family, because making some of these things that are for sale, they take me so long to make, and other people are selling them for so small amounts that if I were to actually charge like $200, like the Memory Turtle game, probably I should charge like $150 or $200 for that, for how long they take to make and for with the supplies and everything, and it just doesn't feel worth it when somebody else is selling them for like $45-50. So, and that's kind of how I'm feeling about the other thing I'm making. So, I don't know. I want to make money selling crochet and knit items. Especially, I mean, my knitting quality is definitely improving, but my crochet quality, it's really good because I've been crocheting for 40 years, and especially if I'm making toys, I'm really careful about weaving in my ends. I know some people are not very good at that. They're just like, oh, let me work over this for 3 stitches, and then it comes out, and I'm like, I'm always really good, especially if it's for children, to make sure the ends are really tucked in. And so my yarn quality is good, but at the same time, will people buy it? I don't know. I'm still playing around with that. Is that everything? Have I showed you everything I've worked on? A grandkid stakes, rose sweater, alpaca socks, watermelon socks, the tithing hat, Millie and the crochet along, and the wasp decoy. Okay. The only other things are, if you haven't seen it, go check out the Mystery Yarn Challenge to see the cute little toy that I made for my granddaughter from that. I'm linking that here. That's why I'm pointing up here. And the other things like my silk shawl and popsicle holders and other things that I'm making, my daughter's gloves, I haven't worked on them, so I'm not showing them. And then I have the mystery yarn, not mystery, I guess it's kind of a mystery yarn, the kids challenge. I'll link that video up here as well, the video I did with my daughter. And she shoved my yarn stash, and I'm supposed to make something with them. I had the idea in my head. I have not started it because I wanted to get the mystery crochet along out of the way and work on the snakes. So I should be working on that along with everything else. Seriously, guys, I've got to stop putting so many things on needles and hooks. I gotta stop. I have way too many things. I think I counted them. I think I have like 12 things going that all feel very urgent and very important. Seriously. So I'm working out a system. The other thing is I did update my Ravelry page. I am on Ravelry as Magical Michele because putting "so" in front of it, I don't believe it might fit. I might go see if I can change it because I might have been trying to do SOUL and have it not fit. So I might change that so that I'm So Magical Michele everywhere. Because I'm So Magical Michele on YouTube, and I'm So Magical Michele on Instagram. And so if I could be So Magical Michele on Ravelry, that would be awesome too. And Michele only has one L in it, so it's SOMAGICLE. Almichele. So Magical Michele. I want to make all the things, guys. I also realized I really am not amazing at updating and following along with the crochet alongs and the knit alongs and all the things on Ravelry as I would like to be. So, along with updating Millie on Sundays and doing the tithing project, I've actually given myself another task, and that is my day that every Sunday I'm going to update my Ravelry. I can update it other times, like I think I did go in and put a new picture in for the mystery crochet along so that it has the newest picture up. But I'm giving myself, you got to go check in, chat with the people, see what people have done during the week, and giving myself a thing where I update every week. You will not see maybe the watermelon socks are. Some things that I'm making to sell are going to be on there and some things aren't. I also got to figure out when am I going to actually sit down and do some other things. Hold on, somebody's at the door. Well, that little interruption was a very long interruption. It was nice having a little visit. But at the same time, it interrupted everything. When I think about everything that's going on, I get really anxious. There was the dog. There's this concept I've heard about. It's the 4-burner concept of the minimalist mom. She talks about it, and it's this idea that so many things you can keep going in your life. Like, you have to decide what's most important. Is your relationship with God most important? Relationship with your family, a career? Like, you have to kind of decide and then let some of the other things go, even if it's just for a season. Well, here's the thing, and this is part of what I'm struggling with all of the things. It's important to me to grow this channel, and this channel is its very own burner. Doing the Mystery Yarn challenges to me counts as part of this channel. Recording these videos, editing videos, doing the challenges with my kids and making those things, they're all a part of this burner. Which also includes like watching other people's videos, checking in with them and stuff, just to try my best. I'm doing a really bad job at it, but trying to stay a part of a community outside of myself. It's all a part of this container that is this. And then I have my relationship with God, that's a thing. And then I have my family, and a lot of the gifts that I'm making to me fall in that family category. And then I have things for myself that I'm making. So it feels like you've got the yarn things that you're making for the channel. I got my yarn things I'm making for myself, the sweater and the socks. And I got yarn things that I'm making for other people, the snakes for gifts, the snakes for, or the gloves for my daughter, all the things. They feel like their own category. I've got patterns that are calling to me. I have, there's something else with yarn. I don't know. It's like important. And how do I choose which ones to do? And my daughter talks about her book that she's writing. And that sometimes hurts too, because I have a half-finished book. It's going to be an amazing book if it ever gets written. And I have other books I know that I'm meant to write. When do I do that? Because I also have to think, oh, that was the other yarn category. I'm trying to figure out if I can sell things to make money, because I need to make money. I wish that I could just do everything and not have to worry about money. But I'm a single mom, and my physical and emotional health is preventing me from going out and getting a job. But there's also things that are preventing me from getting disability. It's just a big craziness. I recently came across a Facebook person, who is literally homeless, and she had to send kids to live with their other parent. And that was really hard because that is my biggest fear. Because we are in that space. It's my biggest fear is not that I'm going to be homeless, but that I'm going to have to lose my kids in the process. I'm not trying to complain here. I'm just saying that this is where I'm like, where my kind of one of my challenges is trying to figure out what yarn projects to work on, how to establish patterns and rhythms in my life that can make it so that those things get done. And deciding, do I let go of one idea, and do I, like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, how do I really know where to put my maker time when I'm knitting and crocheting? How do I really know what to put my time into? Because, I already showed you so many projects, and I seriously think when I counted, I had 12 things that should be actively being worked on. And that's not counting cleaning the house and taking care of the kids and helping the kids find a job. I am using the Notion app, notion.so. They have a free version. They have some paid versions. They have databases, and different people can use it for, some people use it for bullet journaling. Some people use it because you can create databases and stuff like that. So I've been using that, and it's helping me keep track even up with this. My temperature snakes have a database so that I can go in and put in the date, so I have the dates filled out. I can fill in the temperatures, say what color it's going to be, mark that I've done it, and like how I have pins that I put in every week in Billy. I can mark which day they're pinned, and it gives me a counting place. So I like having the databases. I have databases for knitting projects and crochet projects, and I keep up with those so much better than I do on Ravelry. I just really have enjoyed that. It helps, but it also doesn't solve the problem of trying that in all reality, I need a good 10 burner stove in order to live my life effectively. And I probably have the capacity and the spoons daily to run maybe two burners. Part of why some of the things are easier to work on than others, and why I haven't made any progress on my shawl, is the shawl I have to sit down with the pattern and like work off the pattern. A lot of things, like socks, the patterns I'm using are just vanilla plain socks, so I can take them with me places. The sweater's at a point now, well, even without it, the sweater, the pattern for the ribbing parts was really easy to figure out, and so I didn't have to check the pattern too often. And now I just have to do stockinette around and remember, like, every few inches, I have to do a couple of increases, but otherwise I just am working. So that's really easy to pick up anytime. But some things take a little more effort, and so there's that too. And all of those things take my capacity. All of those things take burner power, and because of physical and emotional issues, I don't have a lot of capacity. I'm still keeping positive, and I'm doing things to keep myself positive. I have a couple of techniques that I'm doing every day now just to help clear out the negative so I can be more positive. I feel myself, even though I'm talking about the same thing, I don't know if other people can know it, but I can tell that I'm feeling much lighter about the subject. So I'm finding answers and learning what I can let go of, and learning what I am actually capable of, and do I need to actually do all of the things? Can I let go of them? So I think I really need to evaluate. So I'm sorry if this last part of it is not ever very uplifting. I don't mean for it to be a bummer kind of a thing. just is what it is. In other news, before you watch this, I'll have my new nails, getting them done on Saturday. That's exciting. We've been slowly working the gnats off the dog. So he is part poodle, and I'm not sure what the other is. I know I've found it a couple of times. They told me he was part Shih Tzu, but he is not part Shih Tzu. He does not resemble any of the part Shih Tzus. He doesn't resemble any of them. He looks very much like this one I found, and I can't remember what it's called. But because that's the kind of dog he is, that means he needs haircuts all the time. But because we don't have a lot of money, that means that he hasn't been getting his haircuts. And I finally, the last week or two, just been like, you know what, I could do this. So I started shaving him. I've got little clippers. I've started shaving him. But because it's been since last September that he had a haircut, yes, we are those kind of people. We just don't have the money to take care of him. If we would have known before we got him, if we would have really thought about what the maintenance on this kind of dog would have been, we would not have gotten him. We would have allowed somebody else to be his family. We've had him for 12 years. But I figured out that I can do it, but it's taking me a little bit at a time, and I'm hoping that now that once I get the initial stuff off, then just once a month I can go in with a little comb thing on the buzzers, and I'll just be able to keep him at a decent length without too much stress. We'll find out. So we've been working on that. Another thing that takes my capacity. I didn't even work on him yesterday, and I won't work on him today because that's just beyond my capacity. But if y'all have suggestions on maybe how to juggle some of the things that I have going on, maybe ideas on how to get through some of my projects or to make time for projects or things like that, I would love it. I would love suggestions. May or may not take them, but I will love to hear them. And sometimes people's suggestions actually spark. It's like, oh no, I couldn't do that. But you know what? That actually makes me think of this idea, and I could try that. So sometimes even if you have a suggestion that I would never even do, it might spark another idea. So I would love suggestions. And with that, let me grab something. We will use a snake because it's easiest to grab. Remember to let your light shine through your creations, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!